Hello, everybody. You're welcome to the CV writing session. And this is one of the very most important session in the bootcamp because it's actually determined. I'd rather say whether you're going to be called for the next stage that will lead to the hiring, the interview stage. So your CV can actually make or mar that chance of you being called to the interview, right? So there are usually many CVs that the hiring managers usually go through, and it's to be among that small minority that will make it to the phone screen. So there's actually work for you to do. You must make sure your CV is optimized for readability and also make sure it conveys your suitability for the job in a very concise manner. Also, a very important tip is your CV should be short. It's not about how full, how lengthy your CV is that makes it very effective. In fact, if possible, stick to just 1 page and at most 2 pages, right? Don't dilute the key elements that signal your suitability for the role. Remove some things, even if it feels painful, to the point that everything on that page is a killer reason to take you to the next round. You understand? Next is use plain language. I know you want to show that yes, you understand all the old technical jargons and everything, but still use language that anyone can understand. You understand? Because most times, your interviewer may not be someone that is even vast in your field, right? And also use active voice. For example, the boy chases the dog, than you using the dog is being chased by the boy. You understand? So use active voice. Use active voice. The next one is be specific. Remove adjectives and be specific about the scale you worked at and the impact that you had. Use metrics wherever you find possible, right? Use a simple template. Don't It doesn't have to be colorful. You don't need any much design, right? You don't even need designs at all. You don't need anything fancy. In fact, Google Docs has like 6 templates that are perfectly fine. You can also see some ones even on the internet. Please, you don't need any fancy color or anything, right? It cannot make any difference. That's not what they are looking at. So use a simple template. And the next is what? Seek feedback. You can look at check LinkedIn profiles and see how people phrased their experience. You understand? It's very important. If possible, you can also get some feedback from maybe your accountability partner or a mentor, so they can let you know where you need to work on. Now let's check the sections to include in a PM resume, especially as a product manager. You need your header, you need the experience section, you need the education, you need your projects, you need okay, this is just optional, like personality, you want to put personal stuff, and the skills and tools that you can use perfectly well. For the header, we have the contact details. That's where you write your name, your phone number, your email address, and that's something minimum, right? You don't need to put your house address, right? That's not important anymore. And make sure you check that your updates, at times the number you are using before is still the one that is still on your what do we call it, on your CV header. Please ensure that you check it to be sure that it is current, right? That's very important. You may also want to include some sites, now that you have even been optimizing your LinkedIn. Put your LinkedIn link, the link to the LinkedIn profile, you put it there as well. Or if you have a personal website, you can put it, as long as it's professionally related and it can enhance your profile, then you're free to go for it, right? So people are not going to really look at this except when you get to the later stages, right? To see, maybe to understand you better, to understand who you are. Then if you are also writing consistently on a blog, then you can also put it there. That's a very great way to demonstrate, your communication skills, your thinking skills, and all. But if you know that you have not really been doing all this up to date, it's better for you not to even put it at all. You understand? The next is your summary. Now, you should include a 1 to 2 line summary in your header that is just like your value proposition. You remember your value proposition in our PRD, right? Exactly. So you should include that. And this is, make sure you're talking about your audience. That means who are you solving problems for? And the benefits, which is the kind of problems that you're actually solving. If you see many good CVs, you will see this there. And also, even on product, because you're also a product, right? Even on products, you will see that when they want to market, these are what they also talk about. So remember, you're marketing yourself as well. So this is what you should talk about in your summary. It does not have to be too long. It does not have to be even long at all. You see, in fact, you are making sure your CV is readable, right? If it's too bulky, in fact, even you yourself, you will get tired of any bulky stuff. But when it is readable, you understand, the most important things are being put out there, then it will be more readable. Let me give you 4 golden rules for the summary. Number 1, short. Number 2, unique. Number 3, tailored. Number 4, evidenced. Like I said, it has to be short, 2 lines maximum. Nobody wants to read a wall of text. It must be unique. That is what is making you different from every other product manager out there or every other tech candidate out there, right? Focus on the things that actually set you apart from others. And it must be tailored. You understand? There are different requirements for different jobs. So try and look at the requirements for the job you are applying for. Don't just use the same for every person, every job, every application. And ensure that it is evidence, which means it must be true, it must be authentic. You must be able to see what you said you can do amongst the projects that you have done, or your education, or your experience. You understand? There must be evidence of it there. So this will help you with your summary. For example, when you say in your summary, now write skilled and experienced product manager, maybe with experience in product development, product introduction, and the overall management of a product's life from conception to fruition, bringing forth. See, I'm already tired of even talking. Like, that's a very bad one because it's already taking a lot of space. And it's not even specific, it's just vague. We cannot pick out one important thing that we can say that you have done. But let's say you have this, maybe it's like, industry veteran with 8+ years of product expertise in data, speech technology, and conversational AI. Then you can say, I've led countless product launches from 0 to blah, blah, blah across B2B, B2C, maybe mobile applications, web applications, whatever it is. Now, from here, you can see that there's a concrete sentence here. We can see from that sentence what you actually are and what sets you apart, right? So the next is your experience, and this is like the meat of any PM CV, right? It should be the one that should form the bulk of the content of your CV, and this is actually where many people make mistakes. Now, for your experience, for every position you have actually had, it is better for you to include, number 1, the company, the title, that's your title, the date that you held that position, and the location where you were based, right? And under all these, you want to include about 1 to 4 bullet points of what you did there. And it's far better to have, in fact, few well-crafted points that actually stand out than for you to have one big list of everything you have done, drawing out the whole good stuff. Another very important thing that you must put in mind is that if you've had a position, maybe, for example, this 10 years ago, the bullet points there should be lesser than that which you write for the recent roles. You understand? So that 10 years ago experience, even though it is relevant to what you want to do right now, you don't write so much under it, right? Because I want to see what you have actually done recently than what you've done for a very long time ago. You understand? So it does not mean that you should take everything away, but at least let it be known that yes, you did it, but don't dwell too much so that it won't take all the space in your CV, right? So the longer ago your role was, the less you need to put much details. And make the most of each point by following this format: action, context, and result. It will help you frame what you have done in a way where the impact of what you have done is actually highlighted, and it's actually position you as a leader that delivers outcomes. You understand? For example, there are some words that you should not even put in your CV. Don't say, oh, gathered or managed or translated or facilitated or enabled. Better still, use words like I led, built, shipped, optimized, drove, executed. You understand? The way you actually speak is that's the way they're going to carry you. If you're speaking like someone that maybe just helped the team, they will look at, okay, you're just a team. But when you're speaking as if you are the leader, that's why I say, for those of you that are even product that are leaders in your team, in fact, that's a very great point for you. You put it there, I led a team of 50 to deliver this. I led a team of 10 to deliver this. And even if you did not lead, you can use built. I built this. You understand? So all these things are very important. If you speak like a badass, that's how they will perceive you. Even in your LinkedIn post as well, if you are speaking like someone that is still learning, you understand, they'll still look at you like you are still a GJC. But when you are speaking authoritatively as someone that knows what he's doing, that's the way they will look at you as well. And that's what many people are doing these days, that you feel like, these person has gone far, and probably you are even on the same level, or you might even be more than them. But because of the way you actually perceive them, from the way they talk. You understand? So for example, one bad example is liaised with an engineering team of 5 to deliver features. Liaised. That liaised alone has already reduced your points, because you're like, okay, liaised, not so you can even do it by yourself. But when you say, oh, I delivered new sign up flow, increasing completion by blah blah blah. You see, that is showing you more like a leader, right? You write, oh, I documented initiatives and performed analysis on the results to assist my supervisor. See, you documented, assist. But when you say I designed multiple initiatives to seller hearts, no, that's the way you actually drop it. That's where it is. And don't trust me, even if you were not the one at the forefront, there's a way you can still say it in such a way that you are speaking like a leader that you actually are. You understand? Yes. So it's very important. Then let's go to the next one, which is education. Education, just keep this very brief. You don't need to talk about your primary school, your secondary school, or what have you. You start from your undergraduate studies. It's only if you don't have one yet that you can talk about probably your secondary school, right? And just talk about your undergraduate, your graduate, if you have any, right? Yes. So what do you need to cover here? Just the subject you studied, your course, the university, and the grade you got. Especially if your grade is a very good grade. But if your grade is, understand, just ignore. You don't need to put the grade there. And you can also mention anything that contributes to the sense that you have a track record of achievement. For example, winning an academic prize, maybe you are the best in your set, or you led a university sport or club. Understand? Exactly. Then the next one, very important for product managers, your project. And that's why we usually work on at least 3 projects from the product management class to the bootcamp. And this means that you can also keep on working on it. Don't just say, okay, because we've already done this and that's the end. No, you can work on it. You can develop this product as well. It will also help you. So whether or not, maybe you're just breaking into product management for the very first time, or tech in general, your project is what's going to help you, because you probably don't have experience, right, as a product manager. So this is where your project, in fact, you can even decide to put your project on top of your experience, so that your project is what they are seeing first. You understand? So if you are trying to get your first project management role, then that means you must have built something, or you must have put it live, or you are responding to user feedback. All of these are just the important thing. Then for the optional personal aspects, you know, you can just show that you are a high achiever, you are resilient, you are deeply knowledgeable about your sector. You understand? For example, you can say, "Oh, personal interest. I enjoy." You can say, "Okay, let me give you a bad example first." So you can say, "Oh, I enjoy cooking, music, digital photography, running." That's not a good one. Better still, you can say, "Oh, personal interest, run food-based Instagram account with 4,000 followers at blah blah blah." That's your Instagram account. Then maybe organize 5-person a cappella group, or did this one, ran a marathon race for the country. You understand? Anything that just, you know, it's just optional. Then also you can add the skills and tools that you can use. You get, though that's not really very important, but like I said, it's optional. So just any skill that you feel like it can add to your points, right? So in summary, your resume is actually a very important tool in getting you a job, and standards for CVs are very high. So I have interviewed, or would like to say interviewed, I would say I have gone through CVs. I've interviewed as well, but that's not what we're talking about here. And I won't spend all day looking at thoroughly at everybody's CV, right? Because there are a lot of CVs to actually go over. So make sure that you tailor your CV to get you to the phone screen. That is the job of your CV, to give you that, to get you to the place where we say, "Yeah, please, let's call her for an interview. Let's call him for an interview." And you can do this by what? Highlighting the achievements and the experience that you have. And you must also be very careful not to dilute your message with too many extra words or details. I hope we have learned something very beautiful. So let's go straight to our portfolio creation. In fact, I love this because portfolio is one sweet part. It's a very, very sweet part, and it even helps you as a product manager. A portfolio is important because it demonstrates your skills, your experience, and your accomplishments. It serves as a tangible proof of your abilities just beyond, your CV. It helps you stand out to the recruiters, the hiring managers, and even your potential collaborators. Now, let's talk about what to include in a PM portfolio. In your PM portfolio, you need your introduction and a personal bio, a brief section about who you are, your career journey, and your product management philosophy. There should also be your case studies. That's detailed example of projects that you have worked on, following a clear structure. And the structure is: number 1, your problem statement; number 2, your role; number 3, the process, how did you go about it; and number 4, the outcome. What was the final result? You can include your metrics, your maybe revenue growth, user adoption, engagement, whatever it is should be there. And the next should be the reflection. Like, what did you learn from this experience? What would you have done differently, or what would you do differently? Then also in the portfolio, after your case studies, you need your skills and tools. The tools that we talked about for a product manager, like your Jira, your Figma, etc. Even Agile framework that you know how to use, right? Then your skills. Maybe you have user research skills, you have stakeholder management. You see all these skills there, you can actually Google it. What are the skills that are relevant for a product manager? If you don't have them, try and work on it, right? And most times you already have them because they're part of what you actually learned in your product management class. After your skills and tools, you talk about leadership and collaboration. You talk about experience where you worked with teams, collaborating with other members of your team, or even when you led product teams. Then we also have testimonials or references in case there's anytime your maybe your fellow team members or your colleagues, your clients, right, that they've said them, you can tell them to give you a testimonial, right? How did you do? So you can put it there. Now let's talk about how to structure your portfolio. Structuring your portfolio is very, very important. You can have your own page, that's the first page. Just keep it very clean and professional. Include a brief introduction and links to your most important work. You can also have the about page where you talk more about your background, your expertise, and your career aspirations. Then you can have the project page where you talk about your projects. Then next is your contact page where you have information on how recruiters or collaborators can reach you. Now let's go to the next, which is talking about tools to build your portfolio. So for PMs, I'll just suggest a no-code tool. Like we have several tools. I'm going to be sending you 2 different portfolios so you can see samples on how to do yours as well. So one is a no-code tool. The other one, I think she used Canva. So you can actually use anything. You can use Notion, you can use Wix, right? You can use Medium, you can use Behance, you can even use WordPress, whatever it is that you decide to use. Now, these are some of the best practices in crafting your portfolio. Keep it updated. Regularly update your portfolio with new projects and case studies. Focus on visuals and presentations. Use pictures, use graphics, you understand, to just make it very, very nice and engaging. Also, tell a story. Every project should tell a story about how you solved a problem or how you brought value. Let your design be mobile friendly, you understand, because many people might want to access it using phones, mobile devices. So make sure it is mobile friendly, and add social proof. If possible, add your client testimonials, peer endorsements, quotes from stakeholders about your contributions. Thank you for listening, and I wish you a great time crafting your CV and your portfolio.